Yeah, just send all of them.
Yeah.
Thanks. I thought you only took one. I didn't realize you took a bunch.
I took some of your I just put your reins on there. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. You can bring her over. I didn't get to meet her yet. Nice to meet you, Kirsten. And she is? This is Roxy. Hi, Roxy. So what kinds of things are you doing with Roxy, and what kinds of things do you think you'd like to learn to do with Roxy? Okay, so I'm going to change this. Okay, let me just show you how to do this. So you kind of like act like your fingers are scissors on this piece that comes over her head. Okay, then you're going to just pull it so it's nice and snug, and then you're going to block it from coming loose again with your thumb. Then you're going to come back down towards your ring finger and back up in through. And since this one's quite a bit longer, we're going to just give it a little extra tie away. Okay, so lunging, I'm sorry. Standing still at the mounting block, but will she go to the mounting block?
Not by herself. She has to get up there.
Okay. So you feel that she doesn't understand lunging?
Not really. She's just never really been taught.
Okay. And when you lunge, what is your purpose of lunging? What is your goal?
Just to teach her how to do it properly, listen to what we're asking.
Okay, but what's the point? Why are you lunging her?
If we can't ride, I'll just let her.
Okay. And do you think that she enjoys that? Whether she knew how to do it or not?
Yeah, she's into it.
Okay. I'll give her something a little more fun. Okay. So the first thing we have to teach pretty much every horse is how to back up to the wiggle of the rein. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Just trying to get all our trip obstacles out of the way. Do you find her generally friendly? She's just choosing not to be interested in me right now, and that's okay. We're going to ask her to back up, and how we're going to do that is we're going to drop all the line on the ground except for the very end. Okay, yep, and you're going to hold it exactly like, exactly like that. And you're going to wiggle your finger at her. Now wait, don't do anything yet. You're going to wiggle your finger at her, and you're going to expect her to back up. Of course, she doesn't know how to do that. But what you're going to start to do is you're start to kind of visualize what a horse backing up looks like. Okay? You're going to kind of have that in your mind. You're going to tell her to back up. She's not going to listen to you because she doesn't know it. You're going to tell her to back up with that line on the ground in front of you. So you're just going to cause it to wiggle only in front of you. You're going to do this at like counts of 3. You put enough energy in it to cause it to wiggle in front of her, but not necessarily making that snap move. Then you're going to wiggle it till that snap moves. Then if that doesn't work, you're going to go full arm until she goes, and then you're going to stop. This line, how heavy that is? When you stop, it just drops. You don't have to drop it out of your hand. When you stop, it'll just stop all the energy. That's why I use a heavier line. We can communicate better. So go ahead and ask her to back up. She has no idea what you're going to ask her for. Yep. Wiggle it in front of you. Wiggle it in front of her. Make the snap move. And now give her a look like, get back, good, stop. Excellent, wow, she's the best marcher. Okay, so we're going to leave, oh, we got her attention, didn't we? So now we're going to take one step closer, and then we're going to try it from the very beginning. First the finger, then in front of you, then in front of her, and let's see if she's got it already. Now make the snap move slightly, and now make it move a little bit harsher because she's coming against the pressure. Good, and stop. Good. Now go up and pet her. Don't slap her, just pet her. Good. Good. Again. So I'm going to tell you, no, don't make her wrong, don't make her wrong. I'm glad you did that because I can tell you this. Backing up will make a horse follow you. Okay? So let's be fair because you were almost going to get like, don't, right? So we want to say, no. I don't want you to come with me. Stand. I don't want you to come with me. This way we're being fair by saying, yeah, I know I look inviting, but you're not to come. You're not to come. And we're now, because she just learned this, we're going to say, see, there you go. I don't want you to come with me. Okay? So now we were able to communicate to her, you were doing exactly what your brain tells you to do, but I'm telling you it's not necessary. Okay? She'll warm up to me. Okay, go ahead and ask her to take a step back. Best deal is the finger. So if you're going to make the snap move at kind of this rhythm, then you're going to make your finger move, that move, all at the same rhythm, okay? So if you change it from this to this, that's not really fair. You'll get to where you can just go like that and she'll go, oh, my bad, I'll back up. But right now, we need everything to look the same so she can learn what happens first. Good. Now stop. So the only thing I'm going to add is I didn't tell you is you want to give her a look. Do you have a brother or sister? You ever come in your room and you don't want them in your room? And like say you're on the bed, or in their face. What do? How does your body look? Right? You want her to feel like you're coming to slam the door in her face. So she's going to want to get out, and run and yell at Mom. Mom, you should have. Okay. So we're just going to say, you need to get back, okay? And that's the body language we're going to give her. We're not going to need to actually take an aggressive step at her because she's responding early enough. So we don't have to do that. But let's just say she stood there and went, what do you got? Get out of here, okay? And then she'll respond to body language. But we're going to just give it to from here. We're not going to go at her. See what we... Go ahead. She's falling asleep on us. Good, stop. Good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make her feel like a superstar and not let her be offended by that. We're going to invite her back to this line. I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it first. You're going to bend over and smile, because now you just say, get out of here. Now you're going to be like, but I want you to come back now. You're going to bend over and smile, and you're going to go like this with the rope. The rope in your open hands. If she doesn't come to you because you've invited her, you're going to start to close your hand on the rope. If she still doesn't come, you're going to start to grip the rope, but you're still going to keep doing this. You know what that looks like when the horse is at liberty? So my horse could be over there, and I can go, and my horse will come to me. So that's why we're teaching what it looks like, so that way next time we don't, now the horse is loose, we don't know how to catch our horse, but we have this. Okay. So we're going to ask her to come to this line. When she gets to this line, now your body's going to be like this, right? You're going to be like, come here. Like you just saw a cute little puppy, come here. Okay? Now, when she gets here, you're going to go, that's far enough. Right? Your body's going to say, don't come any closer. And if she does, you're going to just throw a gentle wiggle, because I don't think she's going to need much more than that, just to say, that's far enough. Okay? She needs to stop at that line. Start combing the rope and inviting her to you. Gradually close your fingers and start making it into a slight drag on the rope, but it's a drag, it's not a grab and pull. Yep. Now close your fingers a little tighter. Stays as a drag though, don't turn it into a pull. You can pull with each drag like you're playing tug of war with somebody, but you just don't want to grab and pull. Okay, so go ahead and close your fingers more. So now take a good grip on it and start feeling how the texture is of that rope. Good, now lighten your hands open again. When she gets to you, stand up, say that's far enough. Throw a little wiggle, she took 2 extra steps. Excellent. Go pet her. Go back to where you were standing and then ask her to back up again. Good job. You go back, you have her back up from you. You have kind of a prowly look at you. Give her kind of a prowly look. I want you to get out of my room. There you go. And then go as light as you can. You're going to ask for an extra step. Go ahead one more time. Good. And rest. Just let all the energy out of your body. That's neutral. Okay? So this is do something. Body's alive. This is neutral. Leg cocked. Chit chat. Okay? This is do something. This is do something. This is do nothing. Okay? So now you're going to invite her back to you to that line. It's only, what, 2 steps, 3 steps, and then you're going to stand up, tell her that's far enough. Yep, smile at her, tell her, I want you to come to me. Okay, start feeling the texture of that rope. She wants to feel the texture of the rope. She's already wiggled her lip like, let me see what that feels like. Go ahead and start putting a nice drag, feeling the texture of the rope. You don't have to come to me, you have to go to her. Yep, take a stronger drag on it. There you go. See if, yeah, there you go, but stay dragging it. Yep, there you go. When she gets close enough, stand up. That's far enough. That's far enough. Good. Now, I told you what to do, so I'm not going to, but would you say that perhaps that was a little louder than she might have needed? Okay, and that's only because I said, that's far enough, right? So you took off of my energy, so I'm not yelling at you, but she didn't need that energy, right? You could have just said, that's enough, and she would have been, oh, my bad, right? Because now she's slightly offended. See how she's not blinking? She's scared. Okay, that was big, right? I told you you'd like me eventually. Okay. Go ahead and you can get back in front of her right here and you can ask her to back up. Remember, you're backing up. You're backing up. So what? Tell her. Oh, there you go. Yep, that's not what I want. Good. There you go. Tell her again. She's coming. She's coming. There you go. And that was nice to tell her the way you told her. Good. Ask her to back up 2 steps from the front feet. So both front feet should move back 1 step. 1, 2. Good. And let it go dead. Good. Cock a leg. Mean nothing. There you go. Invite her back. She's licking and chewing. You know what that means? That when they lick and chew, it means something just made sense. Yep. Start putting a drag on it. Good. Good. Now politely tell her, oh, see, she's a little leery, right? She's like, oh, that was pretty tough last time. So you're going to ask her for 1 more step. And then, now stand up and say, that's far enough? Good. Good. And that was good. I noticed your face changed, but at first it was a little still inviting, so she could have misread you. So when you stood up, you said, no, that's fine. You know, you don't have to go, you just said, that's fine. Okay? Okay, so we have that. Now, are you one of the ones that wants to learn how to... I'm sorry? Oh. Are you one of the ones that want to learn how to do the mounting block? Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the beginning of that, then we're going to do some lunging stuff. okay? Because I want her to understand what lunging is, and I don't call it lunging, and I think just aimless circles is pointless, and it really does nothing for their brain. So we're gonna do it something that makes sense to her, where we're here's her brain, and she's gonna, when she lunges, does she turn her head out and keep going like this?
Only with Roxy to try to,
Oh, nice. And she should, the opposite. She should keep asking you, when should I stop? When should I stop? Okay? So we're going to first teach her the elements of what the mounting block is about. Let's bring her a little more into the middle. Good girl. So in order to teach them the mounting block, we need her to know what? Okay. But let's just say she's over there and here's the mounting block and I'm lazy and I don't feel like going and getting her. What would I need her to know how to do? So we would have to ask her, she'd have to know how to go to a suggestion. So I'd have to be able to point for her and have her understand that I want her to go there, which would need a go cue, right? Because there's times you ask a horse to step sideways or whatever, but we don't want them to go anywhere. Like in the trailer, we just want them to step over, right? So we don't want to always have them believe that every time my feet are being told to move, they're supposed to go. So I give them a go cue so I can help them have a better language. So she needs to know how to follow direction. She needs to know how to answer to a go cue, which is going to be beneficial for our next thing too. She needs to know how to bring her shoulder to us. She needs to know how to bring her hind end to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach her the hind end thing because we're going to teach her the go cue when we do the lunging, and then we're going to come back to this. So we're going to teach her the hind end. Now how we do that is we're going to make sure that we tip her nose that much. Okay? No less than that. We're going to touch her first, like, hey. Plus, you always want to know if your horse has got don't touch me spots. Like, if I touch her here and she doesn't like that, she's going to probably kick me when I go to ask her to do something. That's also the point of having her nose. Okay? So, we're going to have her nose tipped. We're going to let her know that we're here. Then we're going to put our fingers here. We're going to touch the fur. Then we're going to, if she doesn't respond, we're going to touch the skin. If she doesn't respond, we're going to kind of dig in there a little bit and touch into the muscle. If she doesn't respond, we're going to look for a rib. Okay? But see how I can do all that without my body having to be involved? So I don't want to see this. I want to just see you do this with your hand. I want your hand to be what's communicating to her. So first, come in here. You're going to rub her. You're going to get her head in the right spot. Then you're going to say, hey, how about you move your hind end? When her hind end moves properly, she's going to cross her legs. If she goes like this, she's not doing it the way we want her to. The reason for that is when a horse is going to run off with you, or a horse is going to buck or rear, they need their legs parallel to each other. When they're crossed, they can't run, they can't buck, and they can't rear. Okay? So that's a safety thing, to have your horse know how to do that from under saddle and next to him. So go ahead and rub your arm down your hand down her neck so she knows that you're going over there. Good? And then when you get there, you're going to just tip her nose slightly the way it was. Rub on her side at the same time so that she knows that you're going to talk to her over there. Good? And now go ahead and touch your fingers. You can drop the rest of the rope right on the ground. So now you took the feel off of her nose. See, we want to keep the feel on her nose. Right there, keep that feel. Don't let that loose. Now you're going to touch her fur, touch her skin, look for a muscle in there, look for a rib in there, and now just sit there like you're a rock in her shoe. She will move. Just wait till she's decided she'd prefer that didn't sit in her side. But don't change anything. Don't get any tougher. Don't get any squeeze. Don't start moving your finger, because now we're going to get tempted to allow our impatience to be a problem. We have to be patient. Put your fingers there and just say, I think you're going to eventually think this is pretty uncomfortable, right? The idea is we're making her uncomfortable on purpose because we want to communicate to her what we're asking her to do. The only thing I would change, if I was to say, okay, this is taking a long time, I wouldn't change my hand. I would bring her nose a little bit more, because that will help her do the maneuver. She's not. Ignore it. Don't wiggle it. Just take a steadier feel. Yeah. Yep, and now don't let her have her head back. Now that she's offered you that much, don't let her have it back. Ask for more head. I see you're starting to rock into her, like you're trying to make it happen. Don't try to make it happen. Just ask for her head. There you go. We need her brain to get connected to those back feet. So if she suddenly leans away from you, you're going to release everything. You're going to not drop the rope, but you're going to take all the tension off the rope. You're going to take your hand off of her. If she suddenly just leans away, we want the message to get to her body in the position that her where our hand is. Eventually we want the message to get to her feet, but she's taken a little while to get it to her feet. That's okay. Yep, she's starting to think it now. Offer her nose a little bit more towards you. Yep. Oh, she's starting to get it now. Take her nose a little bit more towards you, like you're going to bring her nose to her elbow. Yep. Bring her nose a little bit more towards the elbow, her elbow. Yep. Yep. She doesn't mind rocks in her shoes. Bring her nose now towards your hand that's on her. So kind of, yep. Yep. Bring her nose more towards your hand again. So now we're deliberately putting her in a little bit of a pretzel because we want her to not want to be bent like that and see if she'll step out of it. So when she steps away from your hand, you're going to let her do that. Step away from your hand. Don't follow her with your hand. Just let her step right off of it. Start tipping her nose a little bit more to your hand, your other hand. Yep, your hand on her. Yep. Oh, she's getting the thought now. Yep, go ahead and bring her nose a little bit more. She's like, okay, I'm really kind of uncomfortable in this position, but she still doesn't have any motivation yet, and that's okay. Oh, she's getting some thoughts now. So you're going to try to bring her towards like your wrist of your other hand. Oh, there was a nice lean. She just has to figure out how to get herself out of that puzzle. Now you're starting to rock her with your own push, right? I don't think she's really doing all that leaning on. Oh, good, good. Now, yep. Let off her face too. Now she's licking and chewing. She's licking and chewing to, okay, I'm supposed to do something that involves getting away from that pressure. She's not licking and chewing on, oh, I got it. Okay, she's like, okay, it came off of me when I moved. But you notice she didn't do a whole lot of moving yet, right? And that's okay. We have to expect that they're going to have to sort it out. They got to figure this out for themselves. So now we're going to go ahead and rub the side of her again, and we're going to start all exactly like we did from the very beginning. First, we're going to give her the best deal, which is just touching her fur. Then we're going to go for the skin. Then we're going to go for the muscle. Then we're going to go for the rib. We're going to start tipping her nose a little bit more. Oops, she got a little thought there. Yep. Start bringing her nose towards your hand. Yep, keep going. Yep. Yep, don't give her head back now. Good. Start trying to direct her nose towards your other hand. There you go. Yep. I would stare more at her back legs than at her face, so I can watch when something's going to happen. She's got some lean to her now. Good, good, good. Good. So she just doesn't understand that we're trying to have a conversation with her. So she just kind of thinks something's being done to her. She's probably really good for the vet, right? Okay. She's kind of the little kid that sits on the end of the doctor's table and just give me the shot, just give me the shot. Like she doesn't really care what's going to happen to her. She's going to just stand there and let it happen. So we're going to go ahead and tell her, but look, we're trying to talk to you. So we're just going to keep doing this until she starts getting really responsive. We don't want her to, when she sees you do this, we don't want her to move. We want her to wait till you've touched her, but we want her to respond. Okay, so she's not being bad by not knowing. She just doesn't know. Okay. I mean, there's always ways to speed this up, but I don't think that that's really the right way to handle a horse. Start bringing her towards your hand. Yep. Don't turn it into a tug, just a steady feel towards your hand. Start bringing her nose more towards the hand that's on her body. She's starting to think of it with that outside hind leg. Yep, so just gradually keep bringing her into kind of a more of a pretzel position until she realizes there's a way out of that. So all we're doing is we're setting up a puzzle and we're trying to give her the ability to think her way out of it. Here we come. Go ahead and bring your nose even closer. Good. Her outside leg's thinking about it again. Start bringing her more towards your hand. So just now, now do it in like, there you go. Good. So we're going to go right back to it. It's taking her a long time to kind of figure it out. So what we're going to do is some horses require a great digestion, which means you give them a bigger break and kind of leave them alone for a minute. And then some horses actually, because it took them a long time, we're going to say, oh, now that you got it, let's try it again. So some horses you jump right back into it, and some horses you give them a big break and let them think about it. She's not thinking about anything, right? She's, ooh, butterfly, right? She's totally gone, which is okay. We'll get her there. And that's okay that they get like that. And what's cool is a horse like this, when they start going, hey, we're going to something today, right? That's what's cool, is when you get through this stage, because this is a stage of she's decided that people aren't that interesting, and that she probably has better things going on in here all on her own, and she just doesn't really care. We'll get her to where she cares, okay? And then we'll get her to where she's excited. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Your fingers hurt? No, she's not stubborn. She doesn't know. Oh, we got a little rock already. Bring her head around. Bring her head around. So I'm just going to have you do it a little faster though. Bring her head around. Bring her head around. Don't let it loose and then just stay steadier. Bring her head around. 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 We're about to get it. Bring her head around. So I'm only going to help her only because she's figured out backing up works. So I'm just going to help her for a second. If I can take her for a second. So I'm going to let her know I'm here. I'm going to put my fingers here. I'm going to bring her head around. I'm going to bring her head around. I'm going to bring her head around. I'm going to wait until she does what I want because she's not doing what I want. And when she does, I'm going to release. She's thought about it. Big breath. She'll probably lick and chew. A lot, right? But we're going to let her think about it for a second, okay? Because we're not going to have to do that. It's okay. I'd even love it if she went. We got a big sigh out of her, so she may not do that. But she's double licking and chewing. She's secret. Look at her. What about that? Okay, so I'm going to ask her to do it one more time. Yep. You're right. If I was asking for lateral flexion, I'd be very proud. Can't talk all of a sudden. And usually when they finally get their brain, they'll bob their head, and that's their way of telling you something just moved in her brain. So when she bobs her head like that, something just moved. Although she's still not getting the right answer, it's okay though. We're going to stay with it until she does. I'm going to give that one to her. Is she tough to yield with this when you're in the saddle? Do you ever ask her to do anything with her hind end with your leg? Okay. I would say that if I was to guess, she's pretty hard to get to yield with your leg. Ah. Okay. Now she gets it. So I'm just going to give her a second, let her know that she did a really good job. I'm going to do it one more time to make sure she's got it in case she needs to do all this backing up and stuff again. And then I'm going to let you do it. Ha ha ha. Okay. So she just needed it explained to her. And I'm kind of glad I took her from you because if she backed up and you had let go, you would have told her backing up. And that's kind of why I took her from, because she was starting to figure out backing up was part of it. And then she just gave me a lot more effort, right? She wasn't being bad by backing up. She was like, well, backing up worked twice. Well, I guess I'm supposed to just go faster, right? She was just trying to find another answer. She wasn't trying to even evade me. She was trying to give me a good answer. Now, once I gave the explanation to her, now she's all right. So we'll go ahead and ask her to do it. You ask her to do it yourself. Yeah, she's ready. Yep, you're gonna rub her first because we don't want her to assume. Now you're gonna ask. Bring her towards your hand. Excellent. Let her go. Good. Let her go. So you have a hold of her face still. Good. Good. And if she wants to straighten her head out, you never want to make, but she can't. Okay? Good. Ask her for another one. So just kind of like, see how I actually, when she got it, I dropped the line. You can even do that because that was the fastest way I could tell her, you're right. You know, because sometimes when you just loose the line, that's enough. You know, a horse that's not as hard to get the message there, but a horse that's really hard to get the message there, if you just drop the line, you can't release it any better than that. Okay? Tip her nose. Yep. Yep. Excellent. Rubber. Good. Good. And her ears are forward, so she's not offended by all the stuff that we had to do. Good. Okay. So now, what does she like to prefer to just stand there, or do you think she likes to walk around? Okay. So that's the reward. So I'm going to ask you to get out of her space and let her just stand. Good. Sleep. And stare at her feet. Look over there. Don't stare at her face because you ever see a cat about to get a bird? That's what you like when you stand here like this. To her, it's a lot of pressure. So if you can stare at her feet, you can look over here. You know, you can see her. I can see her. This way she's getting a break. If she wants to drop her head, you know, blow out, whatever, look, take a little nap, that's fine. So that's going to be, if she doesn't have a specific spot she likes to be rewarded at, scratched, then this could be your reward for her. Now, obviously, if there's other horses around and you don't want to just leave her there and walk away, go to the end of the line, you know, and keep a hold of her. But that's the best reward you could give this horse. When you approach her from here, you're not going to be like direct line thinking, like, okay, I'm going to come do something else to you. You're going to come in like, hey, what's going on? You know, you want to give her the impression that you're coming to join up with her, because that's what she would do with another horse or want another horse to do to her. Okay, because if another horse came at her, she'd be defensive and be like, this is my space, right? We don't want her to start protecting her space. Okay, so now politely go over there and just give her a rub. Good. And now, do you normally walk with her in kind of a quiet way? Or would you have kind of gone, so, what do you think? Okay, because I don't want you to come at her kind of like, okay, see if I can touch it. You know, we want to just kind of be like, hey. But we just didn't want to come at her like, all right, we're going to go do something. Okay, so we just wanted that happy middle. Okay, so we're not going to ask that anymore, but what we are going to do is we're going to ask her to, unfortunately, we're going to ask her to turn her head sideways and not move. Now that's almost not fair, is it? So I'm thinking, how about we don't do that? Because we just spent a lot of time bending her in a pretzel, telling her to figure out how to get out of that pretzel by putting her head where we're going to want her head in a minute. But because I don't want to confuse her and tell her, because I'm going to tell her, don't move. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask her for her shoulder. And that's that draw, that's that backup feel. So you're going to have a hold of her, and you're going to say, you can say it out loud just so it's only in your brain, but you can say it quietly, but you're going to think, bring your shoulder. And you're like, almost like you think that's alive, and you're inviting it to come to you. Bring me your shoulder. Bring me your shoulder. And you're going to take a little feel. Now, you also want to have in your mind that this should be straight. The more she turns her head to you, the more likely her tail is to go away. And that's what we don't want. We want her body like to stay like this and her step towards us. So we're going to ask her to bring her shoulder. Bring her shoulder. You're going to look at her shoulder. I was looking at her eye to make sure she was awake, but we don't want to stare at her face. We'll see she's like, oh, I'm supposed to do something. Bring me your shoulder. Bring me your shoulder. If she turns her head, I'm not going to release to say, yes, you're right. I'm going to probably just try to encourage her to straighten her head back out. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Good girl. Okay, so I'm going to have you do that. And it's a good girl. You're right. Yep. Good. Rubber. Let her know. Good. Okay, we'll do another one. So we're going to position ourselves to where she brings her shoulder over to us. So kind of stand more like the girth or where your stirrup would be. There you go. We're going to invite her shoulder to you. You're looking at her girth, look at her shoulder. Yep. Excellent, rubber. Good girl. Okay, so that is, we're not going to be able to bring the big block into this tip only because she's really not going to get it. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and offer her how to turn towards us by, and it may not work, I'm going to be honest with you, because she's kind of not sure I really have a lot of interest in this. But we're going to ask her by putting a rein over her head. We're going to ask her, remember how we got her to yield her hind end away? Well, we bent her head, right? So we're going to bend her head and see if we can get her to follow that feel. Now, I have a feeling I'm going to have to teach this to her a little bit differently. I have different ways of teaching it. See if we can get her to step over to you. We're going to say over. That way is not going to work. She's going to be willing to let me just pat her on the back forever and ever and ever. So, the other way I would teach a horse like her is to say, can you follow this feel? Can you follow this feel? Over, over. Now we're going to let her lick and chew because she got scared. Okay, so we want her to realize she's safe. So she cocked a leg. That lets us know she relaxed. I'm going to ask her again to follow that feel. Good. Good. Now, I've got the message to her hind feet, what I want her hind feet to do. So now I'm going to give it a command. I didn't want to mess with her brain too bad by giving it a command when I'm just trying to get her to understand following something. So now I'm going to say over. I'm going to stand back here because I also know she's going to spin around. I'm going to say over. Over. I'm going to stand back here. I'm going to say over. And I'm going to say over. Good. Excellent. Good girl. And I'm going to try to leave her right there. And the reason I'm going to try to leave her right there is because I only want one step. Good. Good. You're right. You're right. There's our nice looking shoe. She's probably even going to start yawning. They all yawn when their brain's real busy. Yep. Every horse here is yawned. Right. We all yawn when it's really intense. Okay. So I'm going to have you actually do that. So when you right here, and the lines say right here, you're going to kind of wait. You're going to start to say over. If she doesn't respond, you're going to start letting the line fall along her side. If she doesn't respond, but you're going to now, the word over has to be repetitive. Over, 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 until she does it, okay? Because she has to learn the word. How is she going to learn the word? Repetition, okay? So go ahead and ask her, and you're going to snap your finger. You're going to say over, over. So your right hand will go up in the air, and you'll say over. Yep. And gradually start to bring her around. So you just take, yep. If you need to do it with your left hand as far as the snapping or the, yep. Good, good, stop. Good girl. It's okay. Good girl. So they go, that was different. Okay, do it again. And what we're going to do is we're just going to try to gradually take away the support. So all we've done was just given her another way to understand without making her wrong for not responding because so much to try to get her to understand anything. So we changed it up for her so that she can have a better chance of learning this. Okay.